How did you learn you had a mental illness? I was 14 years old. It was during the second semester of my freshman year. My Spanish teacher called me to her desk after class. Once all the other students left the classroom, she grabbed my hands and said something along the lines of, "I know it's hard. You're going to make it through this." She had tears in her eyes. At this point, I realized something was wrong, and people were noticing. The first semester of freshman year, I was an honor roll student. I passed every test with a high score. I wore fashionable clothes and made a few new friends. Then second semester came. I stopped caring about my appearance. I would go to school in sweatpants and pajama shirts. My hair was unkempt. I stopped wearing makeup. My grades went from A's and B's to C's and F's. I stopped doing homework and didn't study for tests. I lost all motivation to do schoolwork. My GPA went from a 3.5 to a 2.01 and I didn't care. I lost every single friend I had made and did not make a single effort to regain the friendships. My life at home started suffering too. I became overly suspicious of my family members. I began accusing them of stealing things from me. I accused my parents of hiding cameras around the house to spy on me. I began hating my family, and isolated myself in my room at all times. I started playing video games to distract myself from the family I had hated. I immersed myself in a fantasy world and began confusing the video game with reality. I thought I knew people from the video game in real life and I would try to look for them. I thought my classmates at school were secretly a part of the video game. I thought people from the video game were watching me from my laptop camera. I began losing sleep and would impulsively pace around my room for hours without stopping. During the weekends I would pace in circles around my house from midnight until I saw the sun rise. I began to form a crush on a boy from my improv class. Instead of talking to him, I thought I had the ability to put thoughts into his head. I would listen to music I knew he liked and would insert my thoughts into his mind, thinking he would associate myself with his favorite genre of music. I was trying to manipulate his thoughts with my superpowers to make him like me. I started hearing things that weren't there. I would hear footsteps outside my door and window at night. I'd hear distant banging, as if someone were knocking on a door. I would hear faint screaming in the middle of the night, as though someone was on my street screaming near my window. I heard whispering coming from the walls. I would see shadows at night in my closet. It took a few months of everything I had said happening for my teacher to notice, which was when I went to my mother about scheduling me a therapy appointment. However, the therapist did me no good. I didn't know that what was happening to me wasn't normal. It was as though my mental illness clouded my thoughts. Everything that happened to me I accepted as reality, so I did not mention it to my therapist. My first therapist said I was experiencing a mild depression episode. It took me a few months to realize something was wrong, but 2 years to pinpoint which mental illness I actually had. At age 16, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I am now 17, and very happy. I still have auditory and visual hallucinations, and still struggle a little with my I can put thoughts into other people's heads delusion, but I regained all my motivation, am an honor student again, and no longer wear sweatpants and pajama shirts to school. I also don't hate my family anymore, but it's amazing how something like schizophrenia can change your thought process so much that you start to despise those who you truly love.